What's up, guys? Pastor Dale back with you on what turned out to be a beautiful Carolina afternoon. You can see this beautiful Carolina blue sky behind me, so we just thank God for that. You know, at our church here at Cliffdale Community Church, we talked about submission yesterday. We talked about how people get the wrong idea about submission. When we talk about submission, we don't really understand the concept of biblical submission. We think about submission as what we see in a UFC fight when somebody taps out because they can't take it anymore, or submission means giving up something, giving up our rights, giving up our opinions, giving up our views. But that's not what biblical submission is. Biblical submission is choosing, and it's always a choice, choosing to respect and honor those that God has put in a position of authority. So whether that's a wife submitting to a husband, or us submitting to the government's authority, or a government that we may or may not support, or a law that we may or may not believe in, it's about choosing. Submission, biblical submission, is about us choosing to honor and respect someone that God has allowed or placed in authority. I think when we understand that it's a choice that we get to take part in, and that we're doing it not necessarily in obedience to the person, but we're honoring and respecting their authority in obedience to God. Really, guys, it always comes back to God's plan, doesn't it? Always. And when we choose to disregard God's plan, we don't get the results that we want for our lives. So if God has put you in a position where you're called to submit, wives to husbands, if you're submitting to your husband, that means that he, in turn, should be placing your well-being above all things. That your opinion should matter more than any other person on earth. That he's taking the responsibility and the accountability for what is best in your life, physically, spiritually, emotionally, financially, in all those things. Guys, we have to make it easy to be submitted to by being the husbands that the Bible has called us to be. And being who the Bible's called us to be, and understanding that biblical leadership goes hand in hand with biblical submission. I could spend all day on that. But sometimes it's a law you may not feel is fair, or a government if God has allowed someone to be put in a position of authority, then the Bible calls us to be submissive. But always remember, we never, ever, ever submit to anything that contradicts the will of God and the Word of God. It's all about being obedient to Him. Hey, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.